This is a Reddit story that a user shared. Here's how the story goes. This is a count your windows twice every night. It started with an innocent enough warning from the old man next door. He was a reclusive figure, always dressed in faded flannel and worn-out boots, with gray stubble that covered most of his face like a second layer of skin. Nobody in the neighborhood ever spoke to him much, but when he saw me locking my door one evening, he shuffled over with a strange urgency in his eyes. "You live alone now, don't ya?" His voice was raspy, like he hadn't spoken to another human in days. "Yeah," I replied, a bit uneasy but polite. "Why?" He leaned in close, his breath hot with the scent of whiskey. "You better count your windows twice every night before bed," he said, his eyes narrowing. "Make sure they're all closed, all locked. If you don't, well, let's just say it ain't good." I chuckled awkwardly, unsure if he was joking or just drunk. "Sure, I'll do that." The old man's expression didn't change. "I'm serious, kid. Count them, twice, or they'll come in." I watched as he shuffled back to his house, a creeping unease settling in my gut. "They'll come in?" What did that even mean? But I shook it off as the ramblings of a lonely old man with a little too much time and liquor on his hands. That night, as I wandered around my house before bed, I found myself thinking about his strange warning. I stood in front of the first window in my bedroom and closed it tightly, then the one in the kitchen. After a second of hesitation, I moved through the house, checking each window carefully, just as he had suggested. One in the bathroom, two in the living room, each of them shut and locked. When I reached the last one in the hallway, I counted again in my head. 5 windows, all sealed. It felt ridiculous, but I did it anyway. Twice, just like he'd said. Nothing happened that night, of course. But over the next few days, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. I noticed subtle things. A draft even though the windows were closed, strange sounds late at night, and most unsettling, a growing sense of being watched. The next week, I came home late from work, exhausted, and forgot about the old man's warning. I went straight to bed, my body too heavy with fatigue to bother checking the windows. I didn't even think about it until the middle of the night when I woke to a soft tapping sound. Tap, tap, tap. At first, I thought it was rain, but the night was dry. The tapping grew louder, more insistent. My heart began to race as I sat up in bed, listening. It was coming from the hallway window, the last one I'd always check. I hesitated, fear gripping me, but curiosity pulled me out of bed. As I approached the hallway, the